So we had a, a little introductory call with the woman in charge, the medicine woman. And she also reads energy, can see your aura, talk about you and your life, psychic, talk about your spirit guides, all that. And we were just talking to her, and all of a sudden she's like, I got to tell you, Kelsey, you have, I'm already tearing up. Oh boy. And I want to pause right now, but I'm not. Okay. She said that, oh gosh, excuse me one sec.
Hey, Para.
Hello and welcome to Sacred Pause with your host, myself, Kelsey Keil. This is the podcast for anyone looking for a break, a quiet moment to just be, without any other obligations other than to get grounded, get in your heart, get out of your head, and to be still in whatever it is you're struggling with and desperately wanting to heal. Oftentimes, all we need in order to feel at peace is a sacred pause. Hello, everyone. Today is Tuesday, May 4th, 2021. And I saw something on Instagram the other day, and it is so perfect for what I'm going through. And I have a feeling it's probably perfect for what you're going through in some way. So let me just read it real quick, and I'll go from there. According to Numerology, May 2021 is a one universal month. Number 1 symbolizes new beginnings. We've got a new story to write, and it looks nothing like your past. Don't be afraid to start over. It's a chance to build a life that you don't have to heal from. You deserve it. It's a chance to build a life that you don't have to heal from. Which means, to me, that our past has a lot of healing. We have a lot of healing to do. And that leads me perfectly to, first of all, apologizing for missing last week's episode. I have a new way of doing things because I learned it from a podcast masterclass I did with Blue and Andre. Shout out to Blue and Andre. They're so amazing. I don't have any episodes pre-recorded, but I'm going to start doing that. So for weeks like I had last week, I'll be set to go. All I'll have to do is post and not record, edit, and post. So sorry for that. I will do my absolute best to never have that happen again. But the reason I was forced to not do it is because my body, my mind, my soul, my spirit was literally forcing me to rest. I had negative 100 energy. It was crazy. Not fun, not enjoyable, but much needed after I accepted the fact that I had no choice in the matter. And what triggered it, what began it, was a plant medicine journey my partner Paige and I did last Friday. We had just a ceremony between the two of us, very intentional as always. We did took a heart opener plant, and I needed a week to recover, to rebalance, to refresh. Crazy. I've done, let's see, probably like 30 plant medicine ceremonies so far, a variety of different medicines. And I've never, ever, ever, ever needed a recovery that amount of time, ever. It's been maybe 2 days, 3 days max. But this time I needed a week, and it's still lingering here and there. Like yesterday, I had similar vibes, very, very, very low energy, feeling a lot, but also feeling numb. It was very, very odd. And there's a couple reasons I think this happened. So much that I learned from. First of all, I think after my ceremony on Friday, I was so deep in the medicine that it opened me up, just cracked me open and kept me open for a week, which allowed me to feel so many old emotions, old feelings, old traumas that I couldn't feel in the past. So I was being forced to feel them now, like all at once, so heavy, so deep, which is why I keep saying it was forcing me to rest. I could not do anything. I'm telling you, I was reading barely, because that was even hard, processing what I was reading. I was drinking a lot of water, eating food, sleeping, so much sleeping, just doing the bare minimum, just doing what I had to survive, basically. So not easy, but much needed, much needed rest. I slept so much, had no choice in the matter. So I'm so grateful that I had the flexibility and space to be able to do that, because I know a lot of people wouldn't have been able to honor that space that their body was forcing them to take. So I'm very grateful for that. And what else did I learn? I learned so much. Oh yeah, so Wednesday or Thursday last week, before our ceremony, before all this kind of got triggered and started up, I had a download to start a new podcast. And I'm going to call it Thought Work. It's going to be all about how to change your thoughts, which, if you don't know it already, is very possible and actually pretty simple. So I'm going to have an entire podcast all about that. I'm going to have so many cool guests who are experts in the field. I'm going to do some solo as well, but it's really going to be heavy with guests who can share their knowledge. So you can get knowledge from me, knowledge from them, and we could have a great conversation. And I'm so excited to launch that. It'll be probably a couple weeks before I launch it, because I'm preparing all of it and I want to get a couple episodes in the books before launching it. But if you're interested in following that, just follow the Thought Work, or what is it? Follow Thought Work Podcast on Instagram, and you will be notified when we launch, and we'll be posting all these cool posts about just kind of, what's the word? Teasing it, but also giving you lots of actionable items to do now. And we'll let you know right when the podcast launch, so you can listen and not miss any episode. So follow Thought Work Podcast on Instagram. And follow me too, if you haven't already, Kelsey W. Keil, because they all kind of coincide and are connected. What else? Oh, so I'm doing this podcast completely just free thoughting it. I'm just freestyling it, which I've never done before. I obviously freestyle some when I'm on my podcast, but all my past ones, I've taken time to write it all out and prepare fully, like every word for the most part, and then reading it while adding as I go. But this one, I'm completely just what I'm calling freestyling or free thinking, which is, I was nervous. Well, nervous isn't the word. It's more uncomfortable, because I'm trying to grow in this way. So yeah, super uncomfortable, but I'm feeling good now. But initially, in thinking about how I was going to do this episode, very uncomfortable. But that's where you grow. Grow into the uncomfortableness until it's no longer uncomfortable, and then keep doing it. Hard, but that is how you grow. What else? I have a couple notes here. Oh, yeah. So with my week of rest last week, so much has happened. Paige and I watched the Alien documentary that's recently got launched. I don't know if it's recent, but it's very popular right now, at least in my friend group. It's called Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And And it's all about aliens and how they're real and how it's connected to consciousness and how at the end of the day, they're trying to save our planet, save our world, help us save our world, and how we can help that cause by connecting to ourselves, connecting to our consciousness, connecting to the universal consciousness. And it's so awesome. It gives you facts on why it's real for all the skepticals out there, and even tells you how to connect with aliens on your own, which is through meditating, through connecting with self, which is just amazing because that is my number one goal every day. And I know if everyone were to do a little bit more of that, the whole world would be a better place. Our world, the whole universe, everyone, because we're all connected. And pretty crazy because my partner Paige goes on this daily morning walk at this really cool spot here in Salt Lake, 5 minutes from us. What's it called? It's called Wheeler Historic Farm. So it's very naturey, even though it's smack dab in Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City's the best. It's like a city in the mountains. You get the best of both worlds. Amazing. Highly recommend you come visit. Highly recommend you move here if you're not happy where you're at. But back to my initial point. She saw aliens. She felt them, saw them, with her camera and with her awareness and her actual eyes in nature at this farm. I can't go too deep into it because it was her experience and it's her connection. I haven't had that sort of connection yet, although I fully believe her and I fully believe they exist. And it also might be a fairy, it might be both. So she has connected with aliens and fairies. So awesome, so cool to realize, to have that awareness that there's so much more out there than just you, than just us. I feel like a lot of our issues, our personal issues, come up because we think the world revolves around us. We think everything is about us. We just care what people think. We care how we look. We care how we come across. We just care about us. It's all about us. Me, 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 me. But actually, it's not about us at all. It's rarely about us. It's very understandable that that's how it's perceived. But when you learn that when you grow and you learn and your awareness grows and you understand that there's so much more out there, crazy stuff happens. In your personal life, in your career life, everything changes, everything gets bigger. Your goals get bigger, your confidence gets bigger. It's absolutely beautiful. If you just stay open and aware and have love in your heart. That's it. So yeah, we're going to do a podcast. I'm going to do a podcast with her so she can tell you her experience from beginning to the end. I can't do justice, so I'm going to have her on the podcast most likely next week. But that's definitely coming up, just a podcast about alien and fairy interactions. Super, super cool stuff. Even if you don't believe this, I believe in aliens, fairies, anything like that. I highly recommend you tune in so you can, just raise your awareness and see what happens, see what flows. Last night we were watching the Oprah Conversations. Yeah, that's what it's called. And she, it's Oprah. She interviews just the best people ever. And we watched Matthew McConaughey's episode. Is he not just the most confident man you've ever laid your eyes on? Just the most confident man. Whenever I hear his voice or see him on TV or in movies or in real life interviews, my favorite is real life interviews. It is just amazing. He is absolutely amazing. And why he's so amazing, I think, is because he has mastered his mind. His mind is so organized, so focused, nothing can touch him. He has a goal, he's going to hit it ASAP, probably very quickly, because he has all of his troops in his mind, the cells in his body, he sets a goal and they're all in immediately because of how well he manages his mind. It would be so cool. I'm just manifesting it now saying it now. He is going to be on the Thought Work podcast sooner rather than later. Hopefully that means like within the year, but that's a big goal of mine. But I like to have a list of very hard goals that seem very unimaginable and make them happen, because that's what makes life exciting. That's what makes life not boring. That's what makes you thrive and live and push to your limits and get out of your comfort zone. Because if you set high goals like what I just said, get Matthew McConaughey on the Thought Work podcast, obviously you have to go out of your comfort zone to hit that. So it's a win, 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 win. My favorite. Okay, what else? What else did I learn with my week of being forced to rest? What else? Well, I guess I was also experiencing heavily, like I've never experienced before, what a sacred pause is. I talk about it like I'm a master, but I'm not a master of it. It's just, I've gotten downloads and I think it's so important and I've experienced it, but I've never experienced it to this level. And I attribute that to my personal growth goals that I focus on every day. I attribute it to plant medicine, to all the ceremonies I've done in the past and the one I did on Friday. And the medicine, my spirit, my soul, my past forced me to rest. And one definition of sacred pause is a break, a rest. So I was able to fully experience that, and I had to fully accept it because I had no other option, 0 options. And that's powerful. And that's a wonderful definition of sacred pause, one that I've never experienced or talked about because I didn't really know it exists. Obviously, I knew it exists, but I've never experienced for myself. So I was never able to talk about it like I knew what I was talking about, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. So powerful. And what else? I was just thinking about something that felt very vulnerable, so I pushed it down. Go figure. Oh yeah, so we connected with a community here in Salt Lake that does retreats, plant medicine, personal growth, wellness, health retreats. And we're so excited because we've been searching for a community like this, especially since moving to Utah. And we found them within 4 months. So I think that's pretty cool and pretty meant to be. So we had a little introductory call with the woman in charge, the medicine woman. And she also reads energy, can see your aura, talk about you and your life, psychic, talk about your spirit guides, all that. And we were just talking to her, and all of a sudden she's like, I gotta tell you, Kelsey, you have, like, I'm already tearing up. Oh boy. And I want to pause right now, but I'm not. Okay. She said that, oh gosh, excuse me one sec. She said that my spirit guides are so connected to me that usually they give their human space and kind of let them do what they're doing. Or they're like behind you, kind of just guiding you, spirit guides. But mine are like touching... Mine are touching my heart, touching my soul, like really protecting me. Whew, buddy, really protecting me, showing me that I have nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. All I need to worry about is following my intuition, following my heart, which is what I preach all the time. But if you've listened to any of my past episodes, I have had, growing up, super bad anxiety. Overthinking has been my tool, and it's been successful up until now. So my guides are showing me, telling me, and in a way forcing me to
let it all go, to get out of my mind and in my heart and only listen to my intuition, to right when my first thought, trust that. If I see something interesting if I'm hiking and I see a penny on the ground, she literally said this, to pick it up and ask what it's showing me. Just to ask everything what it's showing me, be super aware, continue listening to my intuition more than I've ever have before. And there's nothing to worry about. I'm fully protected. And I just started bawling like I am now. And it came out of nowhere. And it was exactly what I needed. Exactly what I needed. I've been working on what she just mentioned for probably 5 years now. That's when I really noticed that I need to change, to make a change in my life and in this world. It used to just be about me, change it in my life, but now it's about something so much bigger. Helping others, helping heal the world, and whatever that looks like. I'm so open, so ready, and I'm just being guided and supported, and I'm just gonna continue what I'm doing, listen to my intuition, my heart, and try to leave out the rest. And that's super hard, but I'm doing my best. So yeah, people like that who can tell you, things like that, just life-changing, because it just gives you evidence that you're on the right path. And it feels good to get evidence when you are, giving your all and following your heart and not your head, and not following anyone else but yourself. It's a hard path. So if you're taking that path and you find evidence and support in other areas, other tools, go all in on those tools. Use them as often as possible. Tools can be, energy readers, psychics, yoga, breath work, working out, meditating, walking in your neighborhood, walking in nature, going on hikes. So many tools. So find your tools, add to your tools, use them as much as possible. Anything that makes you feel good, especially naturally, just do them as much as possible. And everything will be easier, everything will better, and it'll lead you on the path you belong on. Especially if you don't think you're on the path you belong on, do more of what you love. Do more of what feels good, what truly feels good, what feels good to your soul. Watch things that make you feel good. Read things that make you feel good. Follow handles, accounts on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff that make you feel good. Conscious connection, conscious consumption, so important. It's all connected, and all that matters is that you feel good and that you're taking care of yourself. That's all that matters, because when you do that, when you understand that, when that's your number one priority, everything else, I'm talking everything else, will fall into place. I recently put a notepad and pen right by my bed, because sometimes I'll just wake up and then I'll have just a brilliant download, just an amazing download that just gives me so much energy and excitement, and I just want to share it, and I don't want to forget it. And I also don't want to look at my phone, because the light on my phone will just make me excited more and stay up all night just thinking of other things that excite me. So I have a notepad and pen so I can just write it real quick. So last night, it was all about self-love. Self-love is my favorite. I had a download of why self-love is so important. And it's because if you don't love yourself, you're not going to love your life. You're not going to love anything in your life. It's all a reflection. So if you don't love yourself at all, how in the hell do you expect to love your life? Or how do you expect to love your partner or your best friend? Or you I'm not saying you don't love them, but you can only love them as much as you love yourself. So if you fully love yourself and only focus on fully loving yourself, and we could talk more about what that means, because I know some people think it just means facials and massages and getting your nails done, which is that helps, but it's not, exactly what I'm talking about.
You can only love others. You can only love your life. You can only love the earth, the planet, as much as you love yourself. So focus on self-love and the rest will follow. If you love yourself very minimally, you're only going to love your partner or your mom or your job just the same. You know, it's all connected. They reflect each other. And just to keep it simple, I love to keep things simple so that it doesn't get confusing. And clarity is freaking magic because that's where you can put all your focus. Just focus on you, focus on self-love, focus on self-care. I'm reading this book right now by Kamal Karavita. My apologies, I forgot his last name, but his first name's Kamal. It's called Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. And I highly, 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 highly recommend that book because if you just follow his actionable items, and it's an easy, beautiful read as well, the rest will follow. The rest will follow. And I like to call the book Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It because it does. I love to add that because it does part because it does. It's pretty simple. And once again, self-love can look like all the tools I recommended or mentioned earlier. Whatever works for you. Everybody's different. But for me, it's working out, breath work, connecting with animals, my animals, other animals, meditating, walking, longboarding is a new one of mine. So freaking fun. Skiing, but that's now over. But now I have so many other things I want to try. It all adds to self-love, self-care, self-expression, inspiration. Anything you want to try it, because that might be the tool you've been looking for. Yeah. All right. Well, I think my rant's pretty much done, but I'm so excited. Oh, also, I'm going to start having super cool guests on this podcast as well. So I'm going to have my Thought Work podcast, follow Thought Work podcast on Instagram, and I'm going to have Sacred Pause. I'm going to continue what I'm doing now, but I'm also going to add super cool guests. And I also, what was my thought? I also have a new Instagram for this podcast. So Sacred Pause Podcast. Follow that as well. Please, you will not want to miss it. Daily inspiration and love and connection, self-love tips, self-care tips, self-connection tips. So many cool tips. Tips and tools and everything you could ever imagine that will help you live your best life, because that's all that matters. You and living your best life, while at the same time realizing that it's not all about you. Because, and I've been experiencing this a lot lately, if you really want to get out of your box and into your, if you really want to get out of your box and live in the uncomfortable zone, because that's where growth lives, you need to get out of the way. You need to not think about yourself so much. You need to realize that it's not about you. You need to separate yourself from your goals, or else your nerves, your anxiety will get the best of you and you won't do the things you want to do. So stay out of your own way. The only thing between you and everything you want is you. All right? So focus on you, but not... Now I'm confusing myself. Focus on you, but realize it's not about you. Make a why. Have a reason why you're doing all the things you're doing, and make that why huge. Make that why so much bigger than you. All right. Well, I hope my free thinking freestyle episode makes sense. If you could just follow me on Instagram and DM me, leave a review or anything like that, I would appreciate it so much. I love connecting with you. And I reply to all my DMs, and I would love to message with you back and forth. And if you think you'd be a good guest for this for Sacred Pause or Thought Work, or you have anyone who you think would be a guest other than you, hit me up. I would love to know. I'm really trying to connect, build a community, and get so many cool guests that I know and that I don't know on this show, Sacred Pause, and then my new show, Thought Work Podcast. All right, guys, I love you so much, and I will talk to you next week. See ya.